Every morning, when the sun rises and a new day begins, God is offering you a gift wrapped in mercy, tied with grace, and filled with opportunities you cannot afford to miss. Each dawn is a reminder that His love is renewed, His promises are still true, and His plan for you is unfolding step by step. That is why starting your day with God is not just a habit, it is a lifeline. The way you begin your morning often shapes the course of your entire day. If you start your morning with fear, stress, and worry, you will likely carry those burdens into everything you do. But if you begin your day in prayer, with your heart lifted toward heaven, you will carry peace, strength, and hope into every moment. Prayer is not just words, it is the opening of your soul to the One who holds the universe. When you pray in the morning, you are declaring, "Lord, I cannot do this day without you." You are surrendering your plans, your thoughts, and your burdens into hands far greater than your own. You are inviting God to walk with you through every conversation, every challenge, every decision. And when you start the day with Him, you will discover that His presence will go before you, His wisdom will guide you, and His peace will sustain you. Think about it, the world around us is filled with noise, distractions, and uncertainty. The enemy of your soul wants you to wake up overwhelmed, defeated, and fearful. But morning prayer silences those lies and reminds you of the truth, that you are a child of God, covered by His grace, protected by His angels, and empowered by His Spirit. The enemy trembles when you rise in prayer, because he knows you are stepping into the day with heaven's authority. So, how should you begin your morning prayer? It does not need to be complicated. Simply start with gratitude. Thank Him for the gift of life, for the breath in your lungs, for the new opportunities ahead. Then surrender your day to Him. Say, "Lord, guide my steps, guard my heart, and use me for your glory." Ask for strength to endure trials, wisdom to make the right choices, and compassion to love others as He has loved you. And finally, declare His promises over your life. Speak life, not defeat. Speak faith, not fear. Speak victory, not failure. When you start your day with God, even the storms cannot shake you, because your anchor is firm. Even the trials cannot defeat you, because your strength is not your own. And even the unknowns cannot terrify you, because your future is already in His hands. My friend, do not rush out the door without first kneeling before the throne of grace. Do not let the noise of the world be louder than the voice of God. Take that time in the morning to align your heart with heaven. A day started with God is a day lived with power, peace, and purpose. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up, before you check your phone, before you run to your schedule, bow your head and say, "Lord, thank you for this new day. Lead me, guide me, and be my strength." You will find that His presence will surround you, His Spirit will fill you, and His love will carry you. Start your day with God, and you will see the difference not only in your morning, but in your entire life. Morning prayer sets the foundation for the day, because every sunrise is more than just the beginning of another 24 hours. It is the unfolding of a new opportunity, the dawning of fresh mercies, and the reminder that God's grace has not run out. Each morning, when your eyes open, you are stepping into a day that God has already prepared. He knows the challenges you will face, the people you will encounter, and the decisions you will have to make. When you choose to begin the day in prayer, you are choosing to build your life on a firm foundation, not on shifting sand. Prayer invites the hand of God to steady your steps, calm your spirit, and strengthen your heart before the demands of the world even touch you. Many people wake up and immediately reach for their phone, checking messages, social media, or the news. From the very first moment of the day, they are filling their minds with noise, worry, and distraction. That is why so many feel anxious before they even leave their home. But when you start your morning with God, you rise above the noise. You begin the day with peace, not panic, with faith, not fear, with clarity, not confusion. Prayer centers your heart and realigns your focus, reminding you of what truly matters. Instead of being pulled in 1,000 directions, you are anchored in God's presence, and that changes everything. Prayer in the morning is not about saying the right words or following a rigid formula. It is about opening your heart to God and inviting Him into your day. It can be as simple as whispering, "Lord, thank you for this day. Walk with me and guide me." Those few words may seem small, but they carry weight in the spiritual realm. You are declaring your dependence on God, and that declaration has power. It humbles you, strengthens you, and positions you to receive the blessings He has prepared for you. Morning prayer is not wasted time. It is invested time, and it brings returns far greater than anything else you could do. When you pray at the start of the day, you are also choosing to let go of yesterday's burdens. You may have gone to bed with worry, stress, or disappointment, but morning prayer allows you to lay all of that at God's feet. It is like a reset button for your soul. You do not have to carry yesterday's failures into today's opportunities. The Bible says, God's mercies are new every morning, which means that today is not just another ordinary day. It is a fresh start, a new beginning. Morning prayer helps you embrace that truth and step forward with hope. Think of it this way: a builder does not construct a house without laying a solid foundation first. If he tries to build on unstable ground, no matter how beautiful the house looks, it will eventually crumble. The same is true with our lives. If we try to build our day on stress, distraction, or self-reliance, it may look fine on the outside, but eventually it will collapse under pressure. But when we lay the foundation with prayer, we are building on rock, not sand. No storm, no trial, no attack from the enemy can shake what is rooted in God's presence. Morning prayer also shapes the way you see the world. Without prayer, problems look bigger and blessings look smaller. But with prayer, your perspective changes. You see problems through the lens of God's power and blessings through the lens of gratitude. Instead of asking, "How will I handle this?" you begin to ask, "How will God move in this?" Prayer turns fear into faith, worry into worship, and obstacles into opportunities. It opens your spiritual eyes so you can recognize God's hand at work in places you may have overlooked. Another reason morning prayer is so powerful is that it helps you guard your heart and mind before the battles of the day begin. The world is filled with negativity, temptation, and pressure. And without spiritual preparation, it is easy to become overwhelmed. But prayer is like putting on armor. It shields you from lies, equips you with strength, and gives you wisdom to respond in love instead of reacting in anger. The enemy would love to distract you, discourage you, and defeat you before you even start. But when you rise in prayer, you remind him that your strength does not come from yourself. It comes from the Lord, and no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Morning prayer also teaches you the discipline of surrender. So often, we want to be in control of everything, our schedules, our goals, our outcomes. But prayer reminds us that God's ways are higher than our ways, and His plan is better than anything we could create on our own. Surrendering in the morning sets the tone for the rest of the day. Instead of striving and stressing, you move with trust and confidence, knowing that God is directing your path. You no longer feel the pressure to make everything happen on your own, because you know the one who holds the universe is also holding your life together. And consider this: when you pray in the morning, you are not only shaping your day, you are shaping your future. Habits become lifestyles, and lifestyles shape destinies. If you build the habit of beginning each day with God, over time, it will transform the way you live. You will find yourself more patient, more hopeful, more compassionate, and more resilient. Prayer builds spiritual strength the way exercise builds physical strength. The more consistent you are, the stronger you become. Morning prayer is not about religion. It is about relationship. It is not about duty. It is about delight. Imagine starting each day with a conversation with the one who loves you most, the one who knows you better than anyone, the one who has good plans for your life. There is nothing more powerful than entering your day hand in hand with God. Even when challenges come, you will not face them alone. Even when storms rise, you will not sink. Even when the road is unclear, you will not be lost. His presence will go before you. His Spirit will walk beside you, and His goodness will follow you. So as the sun rises, tomorrow, make the decision to begin differently. Before you rush to your phone or your schedule, pause and bow your heart. Thank Him for His goodness. Ask for His guidance. Declare His promises over your life. Even if it is just a few minutes, let those minutes belong to God. You will be amazed at how the rest of your day shifts when you give Him the first part of it. Morning prayer sets the foundation for the day. It is the anchor that holds you steady, the compass that points you in the right direction, and the strength that carries you forward. Build your days on that foundation, and you will find yourself living not in fear, but in faith, not in defeat, but in victory, not in confusion, but in clarity. The secret is simple: start with God, and let Him lead you the rest of the way. ChatGPT said, prayer aligns your heart with God's will in a way that nothing else can. Each morning, when you rise, you are faced with choices. Choices that will either draw you closer to God or further away from Him. The heart, on its own, is often pulled in many directions. It can be tempted by fear, distracted by worry, and misled by pride. But prayer has a power that goes beyond human strength. It reshapes the desires of your heart until they align with the desires of God. When you start your day with prayer, you are not simply speaking words. You are entering into communion with the Creator of heaven and earth. And in that sacred exchange, your heart begins to reflect His will. So often, people wake up and immediately allow the concerns of life to take control. Their minds run to bills, deadlines, disappointments, and fears about the future. That is the enemy's trap, to keep your heart filled with anxiety instead of faith. But when you turn to prayer first, something shifts deep within. You are choosing to begin your day not with panic, but with peace. Not with fear, but with faith. Not with self-dependence, but with divine dependence. You are declaring, Lord, this day is yours. Direct my path, mold my heart, and let your will be done in me. That simple act of surrender allows God to replace your burdens with His promises. The truth is, prayer is not about changing God's mind. It is about transforming your own heart to align with His plan. When you pray, your will be done. You are stepping into the posture of trust. You are acknowledging that His ways are higher than your ways, and His thoughts are greater than your thoughts. You may not always understand why certain things happen, but through prayer, you gain the assurance that God is working all things together for your good. This is where peace is found, not in knowing every detail of tomorrow, but in trusting the one who holds tomorrow. Prayer in the morning is like tuning an instrument before a great symphony. If an instrument is out of tune, the music will not sound right. In the same way, if your heart is not aligned with God, the rhythm of your day will feel out of place. Prayer tunes your soul to heaven's frequency. It quiets the noise of the world so that you can hear His still, small voice. It reminds you that you are not in control, and that is good news, because the one who is in control loves you with an everlasting love. Imagine facing a difficult decision. Without prayer, you might rely solely on logic, emotions, or even the opinions of others. But when your heart is aligned through prayer, you begin to see beyond the surface. God gives you discernment, wisdom, and clarity that the world cannot offer. He opens doors no man can shut and closes doors that are not meant for you. He redirects your steps when you are about to take the wrong path. And He strengthens you to walk in obedience even when the road is not easy. Prayer positions your heart to receive divine direction that can change the entire course of your life. Another powerful truth is that prayer does not only align your heart in moments of peace, it also sustains you in moments of battle. There will be days when trials come suddenly, when the weight of sorrow or disappointment threatens to overwhelm you. But if your heart has already been aligned in prayer, you will not crumble under the pressure. Instead, you will stand firm, anchored in God's promises. You will be able to say with confidence, "Though I do not understand this storm, I know the one who commands the winds and waves." That assurance comes only when your heart has been molded through consistent, faithful prayer. Prayer also teaches humility. It strips away the illusion of control and reminds you that every breath you take is a gift from God. When you begin your day in prayer, you are saying, "Lord, I cannot do this on my own. I need your strength, I need your wisdom, and I need your grace." That humility draws you closer to His presence, because God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. The more you pray, the more you realize that life is not about forcing your own plans, but about yielding to His greater plan. And let us not forget that prayer aligns your heart not only with God's will for your life, but also with His heart for others. A prayerful heart becomes a compassionate heart. As you pray, God softens you toward those who are hurting, those who are lost, those who are in need of love. He reminds you that your life is not meant to be lived in isolation or selfish pursuit, but as a vessel of His light in a dark world. When you align your heart with His, you begin to see people the way He sees them, with eyes of mercy, with hands ready to serve, and with words that build up instead of tear down. Morning prayer, then, is more than a ritual, it is a spiritual reset. It is the moment where you give God permission to direct your thoughts, to purify your motives, and to shape your desires. Left on its own, the heart can be stubborn, impatient, or selfish. But prayer transforms those impulses into patience, faith, and love. Day by day, prayer makes you more like Christ until your heart beats in rhythm with His. Think of the countless people who have faced the day without aligning themselves in prayer. Many rush into their schedules and find themselves exhausted, frustrated, or overwhelmed by midday. But those who take even a few moments to kneel before God, to pour out their hearts, and to listen for His voice, discover a strength that carries them far beyond what their own abilities could achieve. That is the power of prayer. It exchanges your weakness for His strength, your confusion for His wisdom, and your fear for His peace. So, as you rise each morning, remember this prayer is not optional for a victorious life. It is essential. It is the key that unlocks peace in chaos, strength in weakness, and direction in uncertainty. Begin your day by aligning your heart with God's will, and you will find that every step, every decision, and every challenge is covered by His hand. You may not know what the day will bring, but you can be certain that when your heart is aligned through prayer, God will bring you through it with grace and victory. Start your mornings not with worry, but with worship, not with stress, but with surrender, not with fear, but with faith. Because when prayer aligns your heart with God's will, you are no longer walking in your own strength. You are walking in His. And there is no greater way to begin the day. A prayerful start brings spiritual victory, because it is in those first quiet moments of the morning that you decide what kind of day you will have, what kind of heart you will carry, and what kind of strength you will lean upon. When you rise and immediately turn your thoughts to God, you are declaring that He is your source, your protector, and your guide. Too many people wake up and reach for their phones, filling their minds with worries, news, and distractions before they have even whispered a word of thanks to the One who gave them breath. But when you wake and begin your day with prayer, you are setting a tone of surrender, gratitude, and faith that will carry you through whatever lies ahead. Prayer is not only a ritual, it is a weapon. It is the connection that keeps your spirit grounded in God's truth when the world around you tries to shake you. The enemy knows that if he can disrupt your morning, he can disrupt your day. If he can fill your mind with anxiety and fear before you even leave your home, he can weaken your faith. But when you begin with prayer, you are already ahead of the battle. You are armored with peace, wrapped in grace, and filled with confidence that you are not walking into the day alone. Think of prayer as placing your day into the hands of the One who sees the end from the beginning. You may not know what is waiting for you, what challenges, opportunities, or trials may come, but God already does. And when you place your day in His care, you are walking with His wisdom, not just your own. A prayerful start opens the door for God to intervene, to lead you away from danger, to open doors that no one else can open, and to close doors that would only lead to harm. Victory in the spiritual sense is not always about avoiding hardship. Sometimes it is about enduring hardship with faith, courage, and peace. When you start your day with God, you are asking Him not only for protection, but also for the strength to overcome. You are asking Him to give you patience when you are tested, love when you are provoked, and wisdom when you are unsure. This is the kind of victory that begins in the secret place of prayer, where your heart is aligned with God's will and your spirit is renewed in His presence. Consider how Jesus Himself often withdrew to pray early in the morning. He set the example for us, showing that prayer before the business of the day is not just good practice. It is essential. If the Son of God needed that daily communion with the Father, how much more do we? Starting the day with prayer is not about being religious. It is about being dependent. It is the humble acknowledgement that we cannot face the day in our own strength. We need His wisdom for decisions, His peace for our minds, and His presence for our hearts. A prayerful start also changes the way we see the world. Instead of rushing into the day with frustration or fear, we begin with gratitude. Gratitude shifts our perspective. It reminds us that no matter what difficulties come, God has already blessed us with life, with opportunities, and with His unfailing love. Gratitude in prayer silences complaining, and thanksgiving opens the way for joy to overflow. When your heart is thankful, it is easier to face difficulties because you know that God has already been good and will continue to be good. Another part of starting the day with prayer is declaring God's promises over your life. When you wake up and speak words of faith, you are building spiritual strength, saying, "Lord, I trust you. I believe you will lead me. I know you are with me," is not only a reminder to yourself, but also a declaration that the enemy cannot defeat you. The Bible says that life and death are in the power of the tongue, and beginning your day with words of faith is planting seeds of victory that will grow throughout the day. Spiritual victory also means resisting the temptations and distractions that try to steal your focus. Prayer sharpens your spirit, making you more aware of the schemes of the enemy. When you are prayerful, you are less likely to fall into anger, fear, or doubt because your mind is set on God. The enemy wants you tired, discouraged, and overwhelmed. But when you step into your day with prayer, you are alert, ready, and covered by God's strength. A prayerful start not only brings personal victory, but also blesses the people around you. When you have prayed, your words are kinder, your actions are gentler, and your patience is greater. You become a vessel through which God can work to touch others. Many times, the people you meet during the day need encouragement, love, or hope. And when you have already filled your heart with prayer in the morning, you are ready to pour out God's love to them. Victory is not measured by the absence of problems, but by the presence of peace in the midst of them. That peace comes when you begin your day with God. There will always be situations beyond your control, but prayer reminds you that nothing is beyond God's control. There will be moments that test your faith, but prayer equips you with the assurance that God's strength is made perfect in your weakness. Every morning is a new chance to draw closer to God. His mercies are new every morning, and His grace is available to carry you. A prayerful start is not about length. It is about sincerity. Even a few minutes of genuine prayer can change the course of your day. It is not about fancy words, but about an open heart. It is not about checking off a box of duty, but about building a relationship with the God who loves you. When you begin your day with prayer, you are choosing victory over defeat, faith over fear, and peace over chaos. You are saying that no matter what comes, you trust God more than your circumstances. And that trust becomes the anchor that holds you steady when the winds of life blow hard. So let every sunrise be a reminder that you have a choice. You can step into the day with your own strength, or you can step into it with God's strength. You can walk in fear, or you can walk in faith. You can let the world shape your attitude, or you can let prayer shape your spirit. A prayerful start brings spiritual victory, and that victory is available to you every single morning.